Long Beach been here since the mid-70s, and it starts on Shoreline Drive, one of the fastest street circuit straightaways. You will see up to 180 miles an hour. And the question is, how dare late do you brake for turn one? Then it gets so narrow here, over to the fountain, flowers on the right, concrete on the left, through turns 4 and 5, 90-degree right-handers. Turn 5, very tough, off camber on the exit. It gives them a nice shot down to 6.
Down 6, which is downhill. Very difficult brake zone here. Easy to overshoot it. You got to keep that minimum speed high and then climb up the hill through the kink in 7. Then it pivots back down on the brakes into turn 8. So important to get a nice run, a nice exit out of here. That wall on the left has claimed a lot of left rears, Townsend, as you blast now down this back straight, 165 miles an hour into turn 9.
You better be hero deep into turn 9 if you want pole position today. Double apex turn 10 to the slowest corner on the IndyCar schedule. Just 31 miles an hour in first gear. You can't even do it with 2 hands. It's so tight. That's a lap at Long Beach. I love this place.
Practice 2 this morning. Great job from Dale Coyne Racing to get Romain Grosjean back out there on track. A big rebuild job for them. Mick Schumacher brought out a red flag. They've rebuilt his car, front, left, and a new steering column for him.
And I mean, the DCR group, kind of lucky in a way that we had that IMSA race in between, a bit of a longer gap than we normally have, but huge credit to them. And now Grosjean's going to want to repay that hard work with a strong result here today, a day after he celebrated his 40th birthday. So happy belated to Romain.
Birthday, Romain.
Wonder why he looked so happy at that breakfast table this morning.
It's because I managed to convince him not to buy a new aeroplane.
I don't know that you convinced him.
You maybe delayed it by 24 hours.
Yeah, I think so. I'm so excited to see what this guy can do around these streets. His first pole came just a couple of races to go in IndyCar. Malukas leading from the front. His teammate Scott McLaughlin was fast in first practice yesterday, but for the 3rd weekend in a row, found the barriers. Can McLaughlin turn it around? He's in this group alongside David Malukas.
Malukas told us this morning that every session that he's with Team Penske, he's falling more and more in love with his crew. That chemistry is really starting to come alive. He was high-fiving the guys after his quick time in practice today, almost like it was a qualifying session, James, but I think it was just that gelling, like, hey, we are there or thereabouts, and it's going to come our way this season. I really just love the way the momentum's ramping up for Malukas right now.
And you and I talked about it earlier, too, that he didn't come into this season with that Penske pressure visible on his shoulders. He didn't come in thinking, hey, if I don't win in my first 2 races, I'm going to be in trouble. He seems to have been given the opportunity, the permission almost, to grow into this role. Those are big shoes to fill, big racing boots to fill in Will Power, and he's doing a really respectable job building up to it.
For sure. Full credit to the team as well for creating that environment for the young driver to come in and do his thing. Christian Lundgaard on track right now. Personal best, you see the green there. Personal best for Sector 1, Sector 2, and then track best in the purple.
So Lundgaard to the top, McLaughlin. P2 from Armstrong as O'Ward now nips it over the line. It's a McLaren 1-2. They've turned up to fight today. Folks, we have a slightly different qualifying format this weekend. You'll remember it from Arlington, but even here this weekend, slightly different to what we had when we were over there in Texas. Essentially, this group and the next group will work exactly as it has before. The top 6 from each of the first 2 groups go through to the top 12. The top 12 is then reduced down to the top 6, the fastest flicks drivers from that progressing. Then the drivers will get to choose in what order they go out for their 1-lap shootout for pole. If you are the fastest in the top 12 shootout, you get to choose whether you go out 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, exactly where your place will be in that running order. Kind of like a draft pick.
Working hard behind the wheel there, the number 12, Malukas, clocks the line, goes up to P1.
Great lap. It looked so sort of smooth and subtle there in turn 11, and still 4/10 to the good for Malukas on the banker lap.
Louis Foster up to P2. That is on the soft tire. Just gets dropped down to 3rd as Scott McLaughlin makes it a Penske 1-2. And now McLaren reply with Pato O'Ward. All those guys on the hard. Just the 2 RLL cars in this session on the soft. That is Louis Foster and Mick Schumacher.
Was talking to Santino Ferrucci about an hour ago just about how to bring in the soft tire. Oh, big lockup there for Pato down in turn 1. I don't know why he's out right now. Still pressing here, James, with 5:40 to go. get in and chill, get the softs on.
Basically, teams are going to look at the amount of time you have.
Behind you, everyone is pit. You will pit this lap, pit this lap.
It's Will Anderson, his engineer, telling him in this lap, and obviously not a quick one right now, but you look at how much time is in the session, you look at what the lap times are, then you kind of decide how many banker laps you want to do on the hards, as we see a replay here of Palou just braking. You see the brake dust coming out, the inside front locks. But it comes down to a combination. Let's say you have enough time for 7 time lapse. Is that 4 bankers and 3 on the softs? You know,
everybody else is in. You're safely in the 6 to transfer if a red were to come.
But maybe he wants to do 1 less lap on the reds.
I don't know.
They've already fueled the car. They want to burn that fuel off. There's a lot that goes into how you plan your strategy for these sessions.
Just getting back to what Santino Ferrucci, as we get closer to the softs, in terms of first runs here on the soft, Marcus Ericsson pulling away. He said out 1 warm-up, then bang. I asked him as we get to single car qualifying, any chance the stickers will work out first time by? He said, I don't know, we'll see.
MSR have sent both drivers out on the soft tire. That's Marcus Armstrong and Felix Rosenqvist. David Malukas has gone out on track on the soft tire as well. I'm liking the look of Rinus VeeKay, guys, right now. That's a lovely time, 108.492 on the hard tire. Can he maintain that pace and that positioning when he puts the soft tire on? We've now got 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes of the session remaining. The soft tire runs will come. And there's the first time really this weekend where we'll be able to see everyone's true hand. The track has rubbered in. It will be at its fastest. Which of the drivers, though, will be at their best?
And remember, for this session, this is what we're looking at right here. That line, that cut line. You don't need to be the fastest. You just need to be in the top 6. Everybody's time below is going to be referenced to that 6th place bubble transfer spot. And right now, as everybody starts to peel out of the pits on those softs, you're going to start seeing a lot of green down here as those fast laps start flying.
So this is the first full warm-up lap here for Rosenqvist, and he's going to just lay out of it a little bit right now. I wonder if he felt like he was bringing the tires in too quickly. Maybe he's light on fuel, or is there traffic ahead?
There could be some cars on outlaps in front.
Yes.
You can see the 3 of them, so he probably is just preempting that a little bit, but he's got to be careful.
With the 5-second gap in front, the 76 is on an outlap.
So yeah, 76, that's Rinus VeeKay on the outlap behind him. So all these drivers already as early as turn 5 trying to set up their gaps.
This is the penalty of going too early on the softs, is running into traffic. Great job from the MSR team, though, to give their driver the heads up and try to find that gap here, because now is time when you're going to pin your ears back if you're Rosenqvist and give it everything you got.
In the Green Day sponsored car this weekend for Felix Rosenqvist. Band's drum will be here tomorrow in the fastest seat in sports.
Careful there. That's Rinus VeeKay there just behind. Now Rosenqvist winds it up.
7 seconds to the car in front.
That's Adam Rivazzini, his strategist for the number 60. He's been on pole here before, Rosenqvist, back in 2024. He knows how to get it done on Saturday here. Lots of curve in turn 1, everything on the exit.
His teammate is on a very nice lap. As we pull to him right now in the Remax colors this weekend. Beautiful, beautiful looking car, and it has looked beautiful at the hands of Marcus Armstrong. A little correction.
That's a big crash if you get that all the way backwards, fully committed mid-corner, but Armstrong hangs on. Sector 2 looking strong.
Absolutely flying. Just a few corners remain, and he backs off.
Why?
That was a great lap.
What?
The 45, Louis Foster was in front, but he would have been able to get that
He had
lap
ample
booked.
space. Ample space.
For again, you don't have to be fastest. If I'm Armstrong in that situation, let's just get a solid lap on the board. A yellow could come out into one of the corners. A red could fly and end the session. I'm with you, T-Ball. I'm shocked he backed out of that. He had the room to finish it.
How about Malukas?
This is a lovely lap. Great. As you guys said before, it looks smooth. Very, very clean. Only just now coming up to traffic over the alt start finish line. Straight to the top for David Malukas. 107.693. That's our new benchmark time.
Big gap right now to the cars behind, as well as a solid lap for Malukas. Hauger now jumping up into P2. That's the rookie for Dale Coyne Racing, who was into the Firestone Fast Six back on the streets of St. Pete in the first race of the season.
There goes Ericsson into P2, the first Andretti car to flex some muscle here on board with Aero McLaren's Pato O'Ward.
Less than a minute remains in the session. McLaughlin goes to second. O'Ward finds himself outside the top 6, but with pace in hand. 0.7 of a second, he finds himself up on that cut line. So too Rosenqvist, though. O'Ward looking nice, Armstrong looking nice. Foster jumps in for now. But can O'Ward join his teammate Christian Lundgaard in that top 6? Has to get the rear squared away, but he does so straight to the top.
Armstrong gets that lap in. Here comes Rosenqvist looking strong.
Oh, Rosenqvist right to the top. 107.4, times dropping. VK into the 6.
P1, we'll keep you updated here.
McLaughlin, Ericsson on the outside, looking in.
I'm curious to see if Rosenqvist can keep doing quick laps on these tires, because he started a lap earlier than everyone else. That's going to give you some information on how you're going to approach Q2, as Ericsson now coming out of the hairpin.
Checkered flag is out. Times will count. Ericsson crosses the line into the pit lane. He has not progressed in one of the fastest cars in the field. Can McLaughlin transfer through? He's absolutely on the limit, and he makes it in to 5th. But there are drivers going fast out there who could yet depose them. One of them is Armstrong, and Schumacher is up as well.
That would be great for Mick Schumacher if he could make a transition after a transfer after the weekend that he's had. Armstrong, 200th, 100th now out. Here we go through the last corner.
Is it enough for Marcus Armstrong? Over the line for him, it's not. He's 7th, and Schumacher's dropping time.
1/100th of a second, the difference for Marcus Armstrong, but here we go.
Schumacher improves to 11th. VK remains in 6th. What a job from Rinus VK, and the big casualty of this first group is Marcus Ericsson. Shows guys that nobody can rest on their laurels this weekend.
Nobody's safe. You know, you have to absolutely nail it. Traffic could come into play. Small mistake. We saw how close it was in that first group. We had 4 drivers in the same 10th. We had 3 drivers within the same 100th of a second, so you absolutely have to nail it. And these groups, guys, remember, they're set by odds and evens of how the car's finished in P2. It's a kind of random way to assess it. But just to break down the experience and the success between the 2 groups, in Group 1, a combined 37 pole positions, 23 race wins. In Group 2, 147 pole positions, and
but Will Power's got
79 race wins.
Will Power's got half of those pole positions.
Well, we see Rossi Dog here on the soft Firestone red straight away. Kevin, who is on what tire right now?
Yeah, Moore in Group 2 chose the softs. Only the 2 Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan drivers, Louis Foster and Mick Schumacher, used 2 sets of softs in the first round. Neither advanced. Rossi, his teammate Rasmussen, also Collette. The 77 is also with Stingray Robb, Kiffin Simpson, Santino Ferrucci. That's the group that is going to use an extra set, just trying to get into round 2.
Thank you, Kevin. Sitting on board with Santino Ferrucci.
He struggled today. I talked to him, like I said, about an hour ago, and he just said, man, I'm hanging on to the back of my race car right now, and we're struggling to keep it off of the racetrack as Alex Palou fires through turn 1 in anger.
Benchmark time for the first group was that of Felix Rosenqvist, a previous pole winner here, 107.4. That is the target. Alex Palou has looked incredibly racy around the track this weekend, but he does not and has not looked to have the pace of the Penske's, or in particular of Kyle Kirkwood's.
Maybe
Andretti.
not on 1 lap, but boy, he looks so good on 10 in a row. And if that's the key takeaway for me for Alex Palou, it's that he is okay to not be the fastest guy. It's like the ego gets checked somewhere, and he keeps the big picture in mind. Hey, this is all about where do you finish in the race and the race pace. He does look awfully good in all conditions right now. The car working as one with the driver as he goes P1 in an 8.7. When the Reds go on, who knows?
Obviously won a lot of races in his career so far, but it's not like he's a slouch in qualifying either.
No, this is looking like a lovely lap from Alexander Rossi, and indeed it is. He goes 4/10 faster than Alex Palou as rookie Caio Collet up to 2nd.
But remember, you see the red sidewall on Ross's car. You called it out earlier, Townsend. He's starting on those soft tires,
and that's
as Caio Collet is.
That's not nearly quick enough in Group 1 to transfer. So Rossi's going to have to find a chunk here, I think, if he's going to compete in the next round.
Transfer was a 107.7 in Q1, but again, that's just lap one. We saw these tires, they can do 2-3 laps, these softs, and he's going to have another set.
Yeah.
He's doing his bankers on the softs. He'll come in and throw another one on, as we see Palou here rounding turn 9 on those primaries.
And faster on primaries than Rossi was on softs. But these tires seem to be holding their speed, and in fact, gaining speed with each lap that passes by. Palou's back to the top on a 108.2.
A lot of guys were already in the pit lane.
It'll be timeline then pit.
At this point in Group 1, as the command comes for Palou to do one more. How about Will Power? Tracking 10th right now.
It's been probably the tidiest weekend so far of the season for Will Power.
Don't jinx it. A lot of curb in turn 9, a little bit wide in that last corner. Goes across the line. He's doing another banker lap on those hards.
That's a 9.5 from Will Power. I'm surprised that's not a little more sporty at this point.
Stingray Rob on the soft tire.
Kiffin
Simpson on the soft tire. He goes to the top.
Here comes Power. He's full push now.
But again, we talked about it. His teammate Marcus Ericsson fell at the first hurdle, and we've mentioned it a little bit, but this IMSA race, hey, big save there through turn 5.
Whoa, that looked Colton Herta-esque.
It did. He's living up to the previous holder of that race seat in the 26. But guys, so much rubber went down in that IMSA race. That's going to change the racetrack so much. It's hotter ambient, it's hotter track conditions. We said it after practice. The last driver that wants to have to deal with an IMSA race worth of rubber is Kyle Kirkwood, because his car was so fast as the track was this morning. Maybe all the Andretti Global cars struggling a little bit to come to grips with this rubber on the track.
Great point.
It's about a 50-50 split at the moment between those running the hard tire and the soft tire. Everybody in the top 6 on the soft, except for Will Power and Alex Palou.
Power on that lap, able to match Palou down to the 100th almost, so he found that pace eventually on the hards. Newgarden set of softs on, and away he goes.
Rahal out, Palou out, Kirkwood out, Newgarden out. All of them on the soft. Kevin, what can you tell me about Graham Rahal?
So he missed a little bit of time in the second practice session, where they did find a lot from yesterday. They had an issue and didn't get to run that extra last session with half the field split, a rocker change. And here in this first run, he's now on the soft, on the hard. He said the tires never got up to temp. The car is not too bad. Still bottoming out a little bit on the straight. So that's the dilemma. He wanted one more lap, but that means you'd get one less lap on the soft preferred. So that still seems to make sense. You need as many laps as possible to get the tires up to temp.
A wonderful result last time out for Graham Rahal. A return to the podium at Barber Motorsport Park. A battling drive to hold off David Malukas to the line. Wonderful to see.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for him all around. Qualified third, finished third. Had to fight off Christian Lundgaard late in the race. Christian able to get around him for P2. Fastest car on the track in that final stint, but Graham did a great job to bring that podium home for the team. And I spoke to him earlier this weekend and just said that the shot in the arm that was for the whole RLL squad was immense. You know, both his teammates really struggled that weekend. It was really, you know, a massive juxtaposition between the 45 and the 30 and where Graham was in the 15. I said the 47 rather than the 45. And that whole team just really invigorated by that performance, because they did it on merit. They didn't catch a lucky yellow. It wasn't a funky strategy call. They qualified third. They raced their way to third. They really earned it.
His first podium in 3 years. Back to today, we are under 3 minutes left on the clock. Graham Rahal circulating out on track. Your top 6 is Simpson, Rasmussen, Rossi, Palou, Power, and rookie Caio Collet. Of them, only Power and Palou set their times on the hard, giving you an impression of the pace advantage they may have now they've rolled onto the soft tire. Keep your eyes on Kyle Kirkwood, currently 7th in the number 27. Your championship leader, fastest man from practice this morning. Keep an eye also, Joseph Newgarden, currently 9th in the number 2.
And these times are going to start falling, guys. I mean, right now, Kiffin Simpson at the top of the charts. That's not a fast enough lap to have transferred in Group 1. So these laps that we're seeing, it's all red right here. They're on prep laps, they're on warm-up laps, but pretty soon you're going to see that bottom half of the pylon light up green, and a ton of curb for Graham in turn one.
And so deep on the brakes. I loved how well this one-gear car handled Graham's aggressive stab at the brake pedal. And like you said, a lot of curb, but tremendous compliance out of the race car. This looks to be a good first sector.
He does have that car in front of him. That's Nolan Siegel. Looks like he might be on an outlap.
Yeah, this is going to be unfortunate for Graham. I wonder if Nolan's going to get out of the way. He's probably looking in his mirror saying, hey, can I get tire temp quick enough to stay in front?
No, he's backed off.
Graham's backed out of it.
And those two had, should we say, words in Arlington.
Graham's got to be careful, though. He's got Palou, who we're looking at now, coming right up.
Well, the two drivers coming through, Newgarden and Kirkwood, both of them on absolute flyers as it stands. That is your champion, Alex Palou, who moves to the top now on a 107.5. That is more like it, and that is closer to the time of Rosenqvist in that first session. Kirkwood up to second, Newgarden up to third.
Good lap from Joseph Newgarden there. He'll get one more. Kirkwood one more. Let's see what he does on the brakes.
Very late, little less curve than we saw out of Rahal. Navigating, just threading the needle between the concrete and the fountain and the foliage.
Great power down out of the fountain.
You just see the back of the car just barely sliding on power, taking curb. The car very good on the curbs. A little bit of a correction as the track falls away on exit there of turn 5.
Will Power jumps up to second. Dixon looking good for the transfer. Rahal trending up as well.
As Kiffin Simpson again knocking out those lap times up to P3.
That's huge.
That's a legit time. And Dixon now to the
top.
top.
It is a Ganassi 1, 2, 4. Brilliant lap times from all three of their drivers. This, though, the man who won the pole last year. Can Kyle Kirkwood rise up from 6th to secure himself a place in the top 12? Kirkwood over the line goes third. Rosenqvist, all three Ganassis. We have two Andretti's, we have two Penske's, we have two McLarens, and then we have the surprises, Rinus VeeKay and Graham Rahal, and a wonderful job from all of them.
Yeah, huge props to Rinus VeeKay and that team. They've actually had a little bit of an issue during this session. The air jack man from VeeKay's crew, Dustin Mills, had to get taken to get evaluated after his arm got cut from one of the wheel guns.
Oh, wow.
So they've had another member of the crew feeling in. Hopefully all is well with Dustin and he can get back to work here in a little bit, but huge, huge effort from this young man here.
There is Rinus VeeKay. Talking to him at the start of the weekend, he's been so impressed with what he's found at Hunkos since joining the team at the start of the year. Believes they have so much potential to move forward. Some great people at the team, and Rinus really finding his feet there. The team has made big investments and big strides towards a positive future, and Rinus wants to be a part of that and help to take them up to fighting at the front consistently.
Just one top 10 so far to start the season, 9th at St. Pete. This could be his best chance to better that best result, as the paces look great. He's just kind of quietly been doing his thing without a lot of fanfare. Good consistent runs. Finishes of 22nd, 14th, and 14th.
Regardless of what happens here today, it'll be the best qualifying position at Long Beach for Rinus. So half the job's already done.
God, this guy looks good on the hard compound tires. So comfortable. Alex Palou hustling it. P1 for now, but boy, if this is a hard tire preferred race, Will, this the mastery, utter confidence, knowing exactly what the car is going to do is at an all-time high for Palou.
The guys behind him, yes, they're on used softs, but it's a second, and he's on the harder compound tire.
Still early here. Yeah.
Through the final couple of corners for Alex Palou. It seems almost inevitable it will be a further improvement from a 108.9 it is to a 108.3 as we get a replay of Scott Dixon brushing the wall, and not for the first time this year, taking some of those decals with him.
And this is just fine. Absolutely no issue with this touch right here. Still, see the steering still straight. Lundgaard through 11.
Third in the championship. First in the timings, 107.973.
Pits here. That's quick time right now.
That is a nice little lap from Christian Lundgaard. Scott McLaughlin up to third. Rahal up to fifth. Power now into sixth. We're going to get some big names falling. Guys, whatever happens in this session.
It's just interesting to me, the drivers that have opted to do these banker laps on the hards and not try to replicate what you're going to be doing in the Fast Six by having that one lap on a used set of softs. So you've got Palou, you've got Kirkwood, you've got McLaughlin, O'Ward, Power and Simpson on the hards, everyone else on the softs. I saw David Malukas on that out lap. He was working the brakes. He was really looking like he was preparing in the exact same way you'll have to if you make it into the Firestone Fast Six.
And going again, and it's a very nice lap.
See him searching with the throttle there, a little bit wide of the apex.
And Malukas goes to second, can't quite depose Felix Rosenqvist at the top of the times, but it's 107.7 against 107.7.
So gentle are David Malukas' inputs. It's really fun for me to watch the onboard there and contrast that to, say, an Alexander Rossi, a Pato Award. Malukas just seems to always err a little bit on the softer side. A lot of touch going on. We'll have to figure out what the winning combination is as those brand new Firestones go on now.
5 3/4 minutes remain. Freshies on for everyone. Kevin down on pit lane. What's everyone thinking?
So right now, everyone wants to get their best lap done on as few as possible. Watching Felix Rosenqvist go by. Alex Palou, who we see there, was told to just stand by. He's going to sit. How long do you sit, though? This set of tires that people are on right now is almost certainly going to be the set for those advanced into the Firestone Fast Six. Palou pulls away. Also, right behind him is David Malukas. You want as little wear on them as possible if you advance.
But this is the ironic thing, and this is the tough thing. This tire gets faster. It doesn't just have one lap in it. It has 2, maybe 3 push laps. You want to take it as far towards the flag as you can because you want to try and maintain some heat in them and in the brakes to take through into the Firestone Fast Six if you make it.
You want to transfer, but to Kevin's point, you want to transfer with just enough grip being used and leaving yourself enough fresh Firestone for pole. That's the debate.
As few laps as possible is ideal. Again, we said it in the first round. We'll say it again here. This is what we're looking at. It's that cutoff point. You don't have to be fastest just in the Fast Six, but at the same time, there is now for the first time actually a motivation to be quickest. In that the quickest driver from Q2 gets to choose what position they want to run in the order of Q3. So it's no longer quite as simple as just being in that top 6. If you really want to make the best chance for yourself to have the best slot in the final round, you do want to be on the point at the end of Q2.
Rosenqvist with the time to beat, 107.7. His own time from the first group was a 107.4. You sit on board with him now. He's looked good all weekend, to be fair to him.
He
Through
sure
both
has.
practice sessions, he's looked so at ease with this car.
He's got a nice big gap in front of him, so this is all just about tire prep right now. Getting the car, getting the brakes and the tires exactly where he wants them for the start of that lap. It's Kirkwood right now sitting 7th. He was one of the drivers that did his bankers on the hard, so this is his first step.
Wow.
The alt-start finish line's right there. That's where your lap time starts. He's already on the back foot for this lap. It's not going to be his best one.
This is his warm-up, but it is a bobble that he doesn't need at that moment.
And if you do that in the Firestone Fast Six, you're done.
Yeah.
One lap, one shot in the Firestone Fast Six. He'll have more than that this time, but the clock is ticking. Less than 3 minutes remain. And it's Rosenqvist from Malukas, Lundgaard from Dixon, VK from Rahal, and this man, championship leader, fastest this morning, Kyle Kirkwood on the outside looking in. We're back riding with Felix Rosenqvist, fastest so far.
This is proper push now for Rosenqvist. Remember, he was the first on the racetrack. I say proper push, James. It's not. He is still warming his tires.
Nobody's properly pushing yet. They're just biding their time, bringing those tires in. Although having said that, one person's pushing, and it's your 4-time champion, Alex Palou, blistering at the start of the lap. Absolutely flying. Just look at the composure. Look at the body language of that car. Totally at ease, as it has been again all the way through this weekend. That is smooth.
Lundgaard getting out of the way. Good sportsmanship there as Palou, you're right, absolutely up on the wheel.
All green outside the bubble, below the transfer spot.
Silky.
This will be 9/10 to that 8.2. This will be wicked fast.
Never in doubt. 107.2. That's the best we've seen. What odds we make it into the 106s before we even reach the Firestone Fast Six?
Do you chill on that, James, and save a lap? It doesn't seem like it. He's going to press for one more and try to own the decision on when he gets to run for single car qualifying.
Rahal to P2, just over a minute remains. Kirkwood on the outside, O'Ward on the outside, Will Power on the outside, but 6/10 up. O'Ward now to second.
I think when you see what O'Ward's doing, I think you look at your first sector, if you're Alex Palou, if it's not quicker, back off and save the tires.
Power's quick.
Not quick enough.
Second will do it for now. 107.5. Kirkwood goes second. Still Palou at the top. It's the guys in the bottom 6 that you want to keep your eyes on.
He's backing off. That's the right move. He wasn't quick enough through sector 1. The sector 2 wasn't strong enough either, so he just decided to save that last few corners.
Lundgaard. It's really nip and tuck for Lundgaard as Rosenqvist improves up to second place. Deposes Kirkwood to third. Lundgaard is there, thereabouts. Is he in? He's not. It's 8th. He'll get another run at it.
Good lap from Malukas. This could be quicker than Palou.
Way wide in 10, way wide in 11.
It's enough.
Good enough.
Top.
Man, there is time in hand for Malukas.
McLaughlin to 6th. Can Rahal make it? He'll have another lap. He doesn't need it. Well, he can't take it. He's into the pits. Dixon only to 7th. O'Ward a 10th down.
O'Ward's going to bump him.
Down. O'Ward up to 4th. Simpson drops down now because of that time. 9th is good enough for Simpson. Rahal had run out of fuel, and that will be all she wrote for everybody. Kirkwood improves to 4th, but everyone from 7th down will be out. So Rosenqvist advances in 3rd. A fantastic lap from him. Malukas and Palou, Rosenqvist and Kirkwood, O'Ward and Power. But out go McLaughlin and Dixon. Out go Simpson and Rahal. Out go VK and Christian Lundgaard.
Malukas,
Huge.
with some pace.
And again,
That big mistake.
I
11. That's a 10th.
mistake.
2/10 maybe.
Yeah, there's time in hand for sure. But look at how close it is again. 2, 2, 2, 3.
Dixon,
Top 4 cars.
Dixon's still trying. Dixon's going to be in 11 here. Not close enough, or is he?
Oh!
He does! Bumps Power.
From absolutely nowhere. He was a 10th, 2 tenths, 3 tenths out.
Will Power.
Where did he pull that from?
That is a huge shock. I don't think the team was even expecting that.
Nobody was expecting that. That just didn't look like a lap. Well, here's who advances to the Firestone Fast Six. David Malukas, Alex Palou, Felix Rosenqvist, Kyle Kirkwood, Pato O'Ward, and right at the last, Scott Dixon. Fastest in the top 12 shootout. Lil Dave goes for his one and only attempt at pole position.
Seems like a solid launch off of 11, not a lot of wheel spin. That's what we were worried about with cold tires. If you get that poor launch out of 11, you just see that red on your dash in the Delta right away.
Such a pure moment for a racing driver. Just one job, go fast. And in this format, just one chance to get it right. Malukas through turn 4, looking good.
Looking very good indeed. Nice amount of curb in 4. A little bit shy on the curb in 5, and you see the back wiggling on Power as a result of that. Never started better than 10th here, so he's going to have a career best start at Long Beach. Look at him wiggling on the Power there, trying to get 750 horsepower to the ground.
Formula drift through there for David Malukas. Now onto the back stretch on East Seaside Way. Big brake zone coming up at turn 9.
You can see him get more and more aggressive with each brake zone as he trusts the grip that's available. Absolutely swinging it through 10. He's so smooth right here. That's a great lap.
Over the line for David Malukas. The target time is a 107.6 away from David Malukas to take the advantage. Alex Palou over the line starts his lap. His one and only run on the streets of Long Beach for pole position.
Every inch of the exit.
That might have been the best turn one we've seen all weekend in terms of no margin, perfectly on line.
It is millimeter perfect. And he is hustling, as he knows he has to. And he is quicker than Malukas. For the opening stanza of the lap, Alex Palou is on an absolute flyer and looking brilliant, inching up against the wall and down the backstretch. Can he take the advantage back? You see the Bose car at the bottom of your picture. The advantage rests with the four-time champion.
Oh, up.
Huge lockup from Alex Palou.
Way wide.
How much has he lost? Not enough to be denied. In the Green Day car, when he comes around, he will start his attempt at pole. A pole he took 2 years ago in 2024. He knows his way around this place. And with the long view down to turn one, laid on the brakes and committed on entry.
And it's just so difficult for a driver to make those judgment calls. Every time you hit the brakes, every time you turn the steering wheel, every time you touch the throttle, you're making a decision, you're making a call. How much grip do I think is there? And wow. Felix is going for all of it.
He is having a blast out there.
Asking for more than the car really wants to give him at this phase, but he is so good over a lap, to get the time out of the car.
Look at the ghost car. It's still Palou with the advantage as he hits the back straightaway. Rosenqvist is going to have to be deep here into turn 9.
He will. They're close, and think about the mistake that Palou made into the final corner. Is the track still ramping up in pace?
Oh,
if Rosenqvist gets that final corner nailed, which he does,
yes!
Sideways through, and it is a 107.4. Rosenqvist to the top. Do we think he's got it in him to take this away?
Working the tires incredibly hard. Trying to get front tire temp. Dan Tauris, CEO of TWG, the parent company that owns Andretti here, watches on. Kirkwood deep on the brakes into one. He's on the hustle.
He absolutely is. He absolutely can get this done well. That was the question. It's just, did he get enough heat in those Firestones? Had to sit a little bit longer than Malukas, a little bit longer than Palou. Hanging on to it out of turn 4, tracking ahead, but it's getting close. Rosie coming back.
So close. Rosenqvist was not the fastest through the opening 2/3 of this lap. On his lap that took him to the top. Kirkwood is falling behind, but it is so close, nip and tuck. And now Kirkwood starting to take the advantage back and slips back again. That's how close it is. We're talking about hundredths
maybe
of a second.
Bit conservative in turn 8. Kirkwood comes to 9. Big entry speed here can be rewarded.
Needs a big finish to the lap. Oh. Has he got it? He fell back in the second sector. Needs an excellent final corner. Can he depose Rosenqvist? Over the line for Kirkwood, and it's only good enough for third.
Nice wide entry and run through that last corner to give himself the straightest run off, the best launch to start the lap. Dixie hasn't sat on pole at a street circuit since Toronto back in 2016.
Wow. 10 years is today the day for Scott Dixon.
Little narrow on the approach to turn 1.
It's lost him time.
Dixon probably the most conservative in terms of warming his tires, I thought, on that outlap. Here he comes to turn 5. You can hear the Firestones just chirping over those concrete sections.
Narrowly behind Rosenqvist as it stands. 400ths through the opening part of the lap. It's tidy though. But will tidy be enough? Can he be late enough on the brakes? Can he be clean enough through the final few corners? He's lost a couple of tenths.
Absolutely slams the wheel, just forcing it through turn 11. Dixon, 5th.
Snyder called it because every lap that gets run here, that's one more lap of Firestone rubber that goes down. Should make the track fractionally faster. And with how close we've seen these times, every little bit counts. But man, that was a strong marker set by Rosie.
Looked pretty good through there. We have applauded Palou Award's crazy fast hands for so many years. He's going to need every ounce of that
And
technique.
It's so close through that first part of the track. Award was faster, but lost a tiny little bit just towards the end. Oh, and he skirts close to the...
Look, he's right there. Look at the ghost car, guys.
Nothing
Award
in
with
it.
a chance.
And all he needs is a chance.
Great run out of turn 8. Look at the advantage down that back straight. Turn 9, 3 corners to go.
Pato through 9 and into 10. The hairpin awaits to determine his fate. Has Award got the pole? Has he done enough over the line? It's Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist back on pole position. Award joins him on the front row, but what a day.